Subscribe and click on the notification bell for more videos coming your way. Style on One. Hi my people, it's your boy Style on One, and today I'm here to give you a message about Africa. And it's been a while that I have been posting videos due to some reasons, so things are just tied up, so I try to hold on to some things, so today I have been strolling and watching videos and also going around looking on things that are going on in Africa. It's so sad, it's so shame to us Africans. We are facing this kind of things each and every day. We are seeing things happening in Africa each and every day. There is no changes. Today I am here just to talk about the borders of Africa, because it's so sad. In our own African continent, we are traveling. We are being termed as criminals in our own country. Wherever we are traveling, we are being termed as strangers in our own country. Let me just say, in our own continent, Africa belongs to us. And the saddest thing is that they said they have brought in this ECOWAS passport for all African nations to travel freely in West Africa, to travel freely in Africa. But it's so sad that we are seeing whenever you reach to another African border, you are being controlled, you are being termed as a criminal, you are being termed as a foreigner in your own continent in Africa, which is not happening in Europe. In Europe, you have their passport, you travel all over Europe. But in Africa, you have the ECOWAS passport, you cannot travel all over Africa. There are some African countries where you want to travel to, you must have a visa. And it's happening. It's the same. As it is said, as the president of Kenya said, these borders are imposed on us by colonial masters.
And as I was telling another gathering, these borders, and I also mentioned to my brother, these borders that you create silos for yourselves amongst, you must always remember, are not your creation. These were creations of people outside of this continent who made these borders not to develop you, but to extract from you. Now that you want to develop yourself, we must start looking at these borders, and we must start removing the barriers that we have put, that have defined us in the past, and now hinder us from being the giant that we should be. You need each other, and you need to support each other. And as I always state, you are not competitors. And I think the big mistake we have made is by making each other competitors. We are not competing. We have yet to satisfy our respective markets. Our problem is that we are not working closer together to meet the demands that our people.
You see, but we are all sleeping. We are not seeing this kind of thing. They impose this thing on us to bring separation among us. How can trade flow between countries in Africa? Because when you hear this trade, when you hear marketing, this market is because of the people. And when people are not traveling across their own continent to do business or to make market flow, how can it be possible? We allow our minds to be captured by mental slavery, I can say, because the slavery that was imposed on us, the masters has gone. They leave us with the system, and still we don't want to sit together to make sure that we change this system. We are still holding on to the system, which is very bad for us. Why can't we see the light come together, join together to make sure that we remove all these borders? You can see African traveling from Gambia to Senegal. He will suffer, a Gambian will suffer to enter in Senegal at those borders. You have to pay money. Even you have the ECOWAS passport, you have to pay money to pass. A Senegalese want to enter in Gambia, the same system. A Ghanaian want to enter in Togo, the same system. A Nigerian want to enter in Niger or want to enter in other countries, neighboring countries, the same thing. Kenya, the same thing. All African countries, we are all the same. Our leaders don't want to come together to make sure that to abolish this border system. This is the one reason we are falling behind, because this border system is stopping us in Africa. We are still working on the agendas of our colonial masters. Why can't we abolish these kind of systems in our continent? I am not just talking because I want to talk, because I have experienced it in the border, which is Senegal and Gambia. A Gambian going to Senegal face a difficulty to enter in Senegal. Even if you have the passport, you have to pay. A Senegalese want to enter in Gambia. Even you have the ECOWAS passport, you have to pay. Then what is the use of this ECOWAS passport when we have to pay, when they say we have to travel freely in ECOWAS countries? When we have to travel freely with those passports, but we cannot travel freely with those passports. What is wrong? Our governments should come together to make sure that this system is abolished, this border system to be removed from Africa. If not, we are nowhere to go. We are nowhere to go, my brothers and sisters. Let's unite together and make sure that we fight this kind of system. Spread your message. You don't know which of your message will be heard from the government or will reach to the people it should reach to make sure that they file these kind of things in their parliament, they file these kind of things in their meetings to make sure that they come together to remove this system. Because the border system is stopping Africans. We need to stop this mental slavery now. As I said earlier on, the slave masters did all this to separate us. The slave masters did all this to rob us. The slave masters did all this to make sure that they gain their own interest from us and leave us to fight among ourselves, which is very bad. Can't we understand the system of this border? Do they have these borders in their own continent that they cannot travel freely to another country, European country, with their passports? They travel without a visa. Why can't we travel without a visa in our own continent, Africa? It shows that still now we are still having the mentality of our slave masters. We are having the system still in our offices, which shouldn't be done. It's so sad, my brothers and sisters. May God help us to be out of this kind of ignorance that we are facing in our country. Sorry to say that. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell for more videos.